Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shishi Gornitai ki jai. Shishi Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Maharani ki jai. Go Premanandi. I didn't bring my reading glasses. Would someone be able to read from the microphone the verse? Yes, please. So that everyone online can hear it and everyone here can hear it as well. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, read into the microphone. I don't know which one it is actually. Let's see if I recognize the verse for tomorrow.
We have 11 today.
Yeah? That's okay.
Kvachituku.
We'll do Om Namo Bhagavate. Yeah, sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Tato Jayam Udirayet.
Srimad Bhagavatam. You can announce Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, Chapter 14, Text number 11. Kvachit uluka chili svannadapi purusha rapashatopam pratyakshamam paroksham va ripurachakula nirbartishtenati vyatita karnamula hridayaha. So we now come to the word translation. Kvachit, sometimes. Uluka, of the owl. Njili, and the cricket. Svanavat, exactly like intolerable sounds. Apipurusha, extremely piercing. Rapshaha, by perseverance. Perseverance, yes. Atopam, agitation. Pratyaksham, directly. Paroksham, indirectly. Va, or. Ripu, of enemies. Rachakula, and of the government officers. Nirbartishtena, by chastisement. Ativyatita, very aggrieved. Karnamula hridaya, whose ear and heart. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sometimes the conditioned soul is very aggrieved by the chastisement of his enemies and government servants, who use harsh words against him directly or indirectly. At that time, his heart and ears become very saddened. Such chastisement may be compared to the sounds of owls and crickets. Now we are reading the pulpit. There are different types of enemies within the material world. The government chastises one due to not paying income taxes. Such criticism, direct or indirect, saddens one, and sometimes the conditioned soul tries to counteract that chastisement. Unfortunately, he cannot do anything. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'm thoroughly unprepared for this class. It wasn't my day to give class, but I'll do my best, and hopefully Krishna will give me some relevant words to speak. This is a description, part of a description of life in the material world. The soul has come into the material atmosphere to enjoy, but that is a hopeless endeavor. Forest of material enjoyment. He's come to try to extract some pleasure from this material realm. But repeatedly the soul meets with frustration and pain. Specifically, the soul is subjected to 3 types of miseries. Yes? 3 types. Adhyatmika, adhibhautika, and adidaivika. These 3 categories of miseries are constantly being inflicted on the conditioned soul. Adhyatmika, miseries caused by the body and mind. Very often when we're young, we're very hopeful. The body is giving us, we feel vigor, vitality, running around. Yes, I feel like a super person. Not always. Sometimes young people also are afflicted by bodily challenges. But sometimes that's the case. One becomes intoxicated by their healthy body. But the body is a machine. And like any machine, you get your new car, you're driving it around, you're having a good time, you're waving to people outside the window, and you're quite content with your new car. And as the car gets older and older, you have to take it more and more often to the mechanic because there's more and more malfunctions in the car. And finally, the car just becomes a huge burden. Even just to drive it down the street is a great endeavor. In the same way, this body is just a vehicle. It's a machine. Yantra rudani maya, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. The soul is driving around in a machine, like a robot. And as the machine gets older, it gives more and more trouble in the form of old age and different types of bodily ailments, diseases. And those diseases are unavoidable. Despite all the advancements of modern science and modern medicine, the book, which is describing the varying types of diseases that people can have, that book is growing bigger. It's not getting smaller. More and more diseases are being churned out by material nature. And then finally, the living entity is subjected to death, which is a very, very troublesome process, very painful process. The soul, the living entity doesn't want to die. I don't want to leave my body. Even if my body is decrepit, people don't want to leave the body. But the body is in such a broken down condition that it's time to exit. And very often the time of death can be extremely painful. Probably it becomes so intolerable that the soul can no longer stay in the body. A sober person contemplates these facts. A frivolous person, someone who's not thinking deeply about life, they're just as I was walking through the forest the other day, taking my walk, there were some people who were coming from the tennis club, and they were dressed in their tennis attire, and apparently after tennis they all were sharing some champagne. And so they were walking through the forest with their glass of champagne, and they greeted me very nicely, and I greeted them back. And this is like the people on the Titanic, yes? The people on the Titanic who are riding in first class, dressed very, very nicely with all of their ornate jewelry, drinking the finest champagne bottles worth so much money, but it's a sinking ship. So what's the use of being in first class if the ship is going to sink or if the plane is going to crash? Not if. The plane will crash. The ship will sink. Guaranteed. So what's the use of being in first class? A sober person contemplates these things. And that's not the end of the bad news. The worst news is that you start again. You go through the same process, a new body. Birth is very troublesome, very troublesome. Anyone here has seen a newly born baby? Anyone has seen? Yes. Baby, they look like they're having a great time. Not really. The face is all contorted, and they come out and they're, they've just, it's great. They first, welcome to the world, smack. That's your welcome. You rascal. You didn't get it right last life. Smack. Welcome to your new course of activities, to your new opportunity. Then as you go through childhood, so many challenges, right? Our child, as he was growing up, he was being loved, cared for, but then teeth started coming out, and that's a painful process, yeah? And then you are forced to go to school. You don't want to go to school. You just want to play. I just want to play. Because the nature of the soul is to play. God is playing. What's God doing? What is God doing, really? He's going out with his friends. And what are they doing? Serious business? No, they're just having fun. Okay, now it's time to have a picnic. Let's see what our mothers provided for us. They open up their lunch baskets, and they're relishing the different types of prasadam and sharing it with each other, throwing it to each other. Okay, now they've had their nice lunch, and then they go and they imitate. God is imitating the animals along with his friends. Just having fun. That's it. Enjoying life. So the soul, by nature, has that sense that I just want to have fun. I just want to enjoy. Sorry, that's not an option. You're in the material world. You have a debt to pay. Karmic debt. Go to school. And then the first day of school, and you realize, I don't like this teacher. This teacher's not a nice teacher. Okay, but you're stuck with that teacher for at least 9 months. Boring teacher, right? And they won't let you would just want to fall asleep in the class. They won't let you sleep. You're forced to go to school for so many years. And then all of the anxieties that a person goes through as they're going through the education system, right? You become a teenager, and then you're really concerned. Am I cool? Am I part of the gang? Am I going to be accepted? Always that anxiety is there. What if I do something that people laugh at me and mock me, and I become kicked out of the group, out of the cool cool clan. There's the possibility of being bullied. All that anxiety. And then you go to college, which might be a little better, because that's past the bullying stage, usually, hopefully, right? People are a little bit more mature, and you study further, and you graduate, and then you get down to the real grind of life. Okay, now you have to make a living, earn money, face the world. Adhyatmika, so many struggles from the body and from the mind. The mind is constantly, from the time we wake up in the morning, the mind is just causing some anxiety, harassing us with so many unwanted desires, with so many plans, and the mind is constantly giving pain. So much so, the mind gives so much pain that a person, I can't take it anymore. Let me just dull the mind. Take some intoxication to dull the mind, just to escape that pain. And sometimes the mind gives so much pain that a person thinks, finished, I can't take it anymore. I just want to quit. I just want to end this existence. Yeah? Suicide is a very, very common thing. It's unfortunately, a very common thing. But Kalakanta Prabhu used to say, material existence. You can't win. Yes, you cannot win. Not a chance. You can't break even. Break even means it's a tie, 1-1. You can't break even, and you can't quit. It's like, okay, I'm just going to end my life, right? Kill myself, and it's over. The pain is gone. No, no, no. Pain is not gone. You're eternal. You're an eternal soul. Come back as a ghost. Ghosts are real. I don't know if it's a good question to ask. Anyone here has ever experienced personally ghosts? Anyone? Yeah, many. Yeah, me too. Many times. Especially in those early morning hours. Just when the sun is rising, it's a terrible time to be asleep. You know, terrible time. That's very often when the ghosts are quite active. So they might, you can say, attack you at that time. It used to happen very frequently to me when I was a brahmachari in the Miami temple. I'd get tired after Mangalarti, chant some rounds, and say, let me take a little nap. And I'd be laying in bed, half conscious, half unconscious, like just that time. And then I would just feel the presence. And then the ghost would paralyze me. And then I would just, it was an opportunity. I was sleeping, half sleep, but then I would think of Krishna. Krishna, 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 the ghost might go away. But then you think of Nisringadev, that's it, the ghost is gone. So you can't even quit. That's material existence, adhyatmika. Pain coming from the body and the mind. And sometimes the soul is so foolish. So foolish. This is a very common thing. Oh, if I only had a different material body. Yes? If I only had a material body that was better looking, more intelligent, from a better country, blah, 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 blah. Right? If I only had what better material body? Every material body goes through those processes, pretty much. Old age, disease, and death, suffering. So this is the bewilderment of the soul. Adidaivika, misery is coming from nature. Too hot, too cold. Tsunami, earthquake. The weather is rarely just right. Ah, beautiful day. Just pleasing to the senses, pleasing to the mind. Exactly as I would hope for. Very rarely. No. There is a place where the weather is always just suited. Not in this realm. Well, maybe in the higher planets also. Adidaivika. Misery is coming from the devatas. And this verse especially is talking about adibautika. Adibautika means living. Misery is coming from other living entities. Of course, those miseries are going to come from other living entities because you've got practically innumerable souls who've all come to the material world with the same intention. that I will be the Lord. So there's a heck of a lot of competition. I'll be the one. I'm the center. People should serve me. People should cooperate with me. So if everyone's thinking like that, well, naturally, there's going to be a lot of clashes. There's going to be a lot of animosity. Adibautika. Miseries coming from other living entities. On the surface, sometimes the material world appears to be a pleasing place. Yes, just like if you go into the forest. Oh, it's very serene, mode of goodness, right? The forest is in the mode of goodness. You go into the forest and it's very peaceful and you hear the birds chirping and maybe you see a deer in the distance. But if you look closer, you see something else. If you focus in and you zoom in, you see the hard struggle for existence. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One living entity is food for another living entity. That's what's happening in the forest. You've got the predators and you have the prey. Some of the living entities are stronger and some are weaker. And what are the stronger living entities doing to the weaker living entities? Are they protecting them? Sheltering them? Well, only if it's my little child. Otherwise, the stronger living entities are devouring the weaker living entities. Imagine, eating them alive. Huh? These are living entities, souls, part and parcel of God. And as souls, they have divine qualities, which means the qualities of respect and compassion and an equal vision towards all. And the soul falls into such a degraded condition, such a vicious condition of life, that the soul is looking at other living entities and thinking, that tastes good. Let me just devour it. Yes, that living entity is going to be screaming in agony, but it's going to taste good to my taste buds. Let me enjoy. That's the material world. It's a place where there's total insensitivity towards other living entities. And if we read the news, which I don't recommend, really don't read the news. The news will just make you depressed, and it'll just make you see with a dualistic vision, and I hate this one, and this one is, causing injustice to that one. The Vaishnavas have a different perspective and a different intention. So we like to hear from another source. But if you read the news, it's just shocking. It's shocking the amount of cruelty that even human beings are able to inflict on other human beings. So that's the material world. And everyone is trying to adjust it, yes? They're going into the street with their picket signs and protesting and trying to adjust the material world. But the material world is not adjustable. Of course, if people change their consciousness, a certain critical mass of people change their consciousness, the material world will improve. It'll be a better place, like Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, people weren't killing each other and devouring each other. People were evolved. It was I guess it's the spring of the cosmos, the springtime of the cosmos, where truth prevails and the good qualities of the living entities are manifested and very few bad qualities are existing. But we don't live in the Satya Yuga, we live in the Kali Yuga. So it's just shocking how vicious living entities are to each other. Complete insensitivity. And blindness, total blindness. They don't have the broad perspective of a saintly person. Just like some people are protesting against abortion, yeah? They're going to the abortion clinic and they're protesting that this is sinful, this is against God's law, this is a horrible, immoral act. And they're right, absolutely. In previous ages, no one could conceive of something like that practically. That a mother who by nature holds her baby as the most sacred thing, as a thing which must be nourished and protected by all means, that a mother would think of killing her own baby? No one could have conceived of something like that in previous ages. But now, of course, it's commonplace because of the influence of the age of Kali. So people are protesting outside the abortion clinic. And what is their protest? It's called pro-life. Pro-life, pro-life, pro-life. And after the pro-life protest, what do? They go to the picnic and they have a barbecue and eat animals. They don't understand. This is also life. This life is also sacred. This life is also part of God. So they don't have the big picture. They don't have a generous view towards all living entities. That's the tendency in the material world, to have a very limited scope for generosity and compassion and respect. This person belongs to the same race as me, therefore I give them some consideration. This person is from the same country as me, therefore I give them some respect and some consideration, maybe. This person is a fan of the same football team as me, therefore I like this person. The other guy, who's a different race, a different gender, a different nationality, a different football team, I dislike them. They might be a very nice person, but I dislike them. Because the material world is ruled by envy. Some malice is there in the heart of souls in this world. So it's natural that you're going to hate someone. And then you're going to team up with someone else and hate another group of people. This is in direct opposition to the natural condition of the soul. The natural condition of the soul is to see every living entity as part and parcel of God. Oh, this living entity is part of God. As I love God, naturally I love this living entity. And this living entity is sitting inside this body, and next to this living entity is my worshipful Lord. This is the consciousness that a devotee develops. Kanishta Adhikari means you come to the temple, you see God in one place. On the altar, nowhere else. Yes, that's Kanishta Adhikari. You see God, come to the temple, God is here. A more advanced consciousness is you come to the temple, you see God is on the altar, but God is not only on the altar. God is inside the heart of every living entity. In the grass, in the tree, in the dog, in every race, in every species. And so naturally there's respect. There's no question of causing harm. Just the opposite. Exactly the opposite. This is the mentality of a devotee. What to speak of causing harm? The devotee is simply thinking how to benefit others. And those that are unable to be benefited, the devotee is still straining their brain. How can I still benefit them? This is the ultimate standard of wanting to benefit others. Madhyama Adhikari sees 4 types of people. Yeah? People. Sees God, who gives devotion to, service to, love. Devotees of God. So there's friendship with devotees in an appropriate way depending on who they are. The innocent people, the devotee tries to show them compassion by giving them some Krishna consciousness. Understanding this is the real solution to life's problems. There's no material solution. The devotee is not interested in applying a band-aid. The devotee is interested in reconnecting the soul to God. Once you know that I'm a servant of Krishna, and Krishna is my father, and Krishna is the wealthiest person, then the problems of life are solved. If you meet the child of a rich person in the street and they're suffering from amnesia, they've forgotten who their father is, you don't just give them a sandwich. You just reintroduce them to their rich father, and then they're secure. So this is the welfare work of the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava gives the highest welfare work because the Vaishnava helps souls get out of the material existence. And then the envious, we wish them well, but from a distance. Those who are inimical, we just wish them well, but from a distance. We don't associate with them. But sometimes devotees are so compassionate that they don't take into consideration at all this person is envious, vicious. Just like we have the example of the 6 Goswamis. Dhira dhira jana priya priyakaro. The 6 Goswamis, those who were envious and those who were gentle. Everyone liked the 6 Goswamis. Everyone liked them. They thought these 6 Goswamis are very nice. Why did they think like that? Because the 6 Goswamis had no envy. They didn't have a sense of judging others, putting others down. They simply were cent percent the well-wishers of everyone, and everyone could feel it. This person likes me. I'm not sure why they like me, because I'm a nasty person, but this person likes me. And if someone really likes you, it's hard not to like them back. One of Prabhupada's servants once said to Prabhupada had just met with someone, maybe someone's parents, and then the parents left, or the guests left, and the servant said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, everyone likes you so much. And Prabhupada said, yes, because I like everyone so much. That's Prabhupada. That's a pure devotee. We have the example of Narada Muni. Extreme example. It's an extreme example. He's walking in the forest. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Maharani ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Narada Muni is walking in the forest, and he sees just a horrifying sight, horrible sight, half-killed animals. And who could do something like this? And then behind the bushes, he sees a very dark, horrible personality, vicious personality. So the normal instinct, when you see someone who's so vicious and causing so much pain to innocent creatures, is to dislike that person, is to judge that person, is to think, let judgment come down on that person. You rascal, you demon, you're going to get such karma. This is the normal conditioned response. Yes? I remember some years ago, there was a newspaper article about this dentist or something like that. He went to Africa, and he went on a safari in Africa, and he shot a lion. And then somehow it was posted in the newspapers. This guy, Mr. Smith, shot this lion, and he was posing next to the lion. And people got so mad at him, so angry, that they canceled him. It means he didn't have any more clients for his dentistry business. His friends rejected him. He anywhere he went, you demon, you vicious person. How could you kill a lion? Of course, all of these people think nothing of eating meat, eating cows, eating chickens, eating goats. They think nothing of that. But you killed a lion. They totally condemned the guy. His regular life was ruined because he did that. So this is the nature of the conditioned response. Narada Muni's response was different. Narada Muni approached this hunter and what are you doing? And the hunter was ready to chastise Narada, but he was unable to. He was unable to chastise Narada. Krishna just held his tongue. No, you're not going to chastise my pure devotee. You're going to hold your tongue and get his mercy. So Narada Muni didn't condemn him. Narada Muni blessed him, turned him into a pure devotee, to the point where later when he was visiting, the hunter was running towards his guru, ex-hunter was running towards his guru, and then he stopped and started with his cloth, sweeping the path in front of him. And Narada Muni said, what are you doing? He said, I didn't want to step on the ants. The ants are part of God. The ants have God inside them, so I didn't want to cause them any pain. See the transformation. So this is the power of a pure devotee and the attitude of a pure devotee. The people that are condemned by this world, and rightfully so, yeah? Rightfully so, because of their vicious activities. But the pure devotee is more compassionate than God even. The pure devotee thinks, I just want people to be happy. I just want people to get Krishna's mercy. Prahlad Maharaj, I don't want to go back to Godhead alone and leave all these fools and rascals to suffer in the material world. And then Prahlad Maharaj came back as Vasudev Datta. And Lord Chaitanya said to Vasudev Datta, I want to give you a benediction. You please accept the benediction. Anything you want. So right now, if anyone in this room was asked from Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, what benediction do you want? We'd say, well, I want something for myself, I'd like to. We wouldn't ask for, a Mercedes-Benz. We're not idiots. We say, I'd like to be a pure soul. I'd like to have love of Krishna. This is what I really would like to have. It's a nice desire. It's a pure desire. Krishna, I don't want anything. I just want to love you. That's all. I want to serve you. So Lord Chaitanya asked Vasudeva Datta, what do you want? Huh? And also, in that request of ours, I want love of Krishna. There's something mixed with that. I want to stop suffering. Yeah? I want love of Krishna, but I want to stop suffering also. I want to go back to Goloka Vrindavan and be with Krishna and all the residents of Goloka Vrindavan. So there's some element of selfishness there. Something for me. Vasudev Dutt, what do you want? I don't want anything. No, you must take a benediction. I simply want that all people, all living entities, forget about people, should stop suffering. You take all of their karma, and you put it on my head. I'm willing to suffer the karma of everyone that they can go back to Krishna Loka. This is the extent of Vasudeva Datta's compassion, servant of Lord Chaitanya. I was telling my friend this story. He knows the story. And he said, yeah, I don't even want my own karma. Yeah? No one wants their own karma. We get our own karma and we're complaining, this person's doing this to me. This situation is not pleasing. I can't believe I don't have more money. Krishna, what's happening here? Why don't I have a better life? We don't even want our own karma. What to speak of anyone else's karma? Maybe a mother will be willing to take the karma of her child. Yes? Yeah? The father maybe will take some of the karma of their kid. But to take all of the people's, all the living entities, the nasty, horrible people, you're going to take their, no way. Wouldn't think of it. Vasudeva Dutt said, I'll take their karma. I'll stay here. In the mature world, they'll go back to Krishna Loka. So this is Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava. And we saw in Prabhupada's example the willingness to undergo tremendous struggle with no facilities, none of the normal advantages, none of the normal things that are required to do what he needed to do. Yeah? Krishna didn't arrange for him to fly over on a Boeing 747 in business class or even in economy class. No. Prabhupada accepted great hardship out of compassion. So when we contemplate what is the consciousness of a Vaishnava, it's very sobering. It's very purifying. It's very humbling. And then we realize, oh, I have a long way to go. I don't need to be Vasudeva Datta. But at least I should stop being judgmental towards other souls. I should realize I should just focus on my own purification, my own development. I should have a generous attitude towards others. And whenever we come into a circumstance, because life just, Krishna puts all sorts of situations and circumstances in our path. All the time, doesn't he? All the time he puts circumstances in our path. And one of the keys to dealing properly with those circumstances is to be spiritually nourished. When we're spiritually nourished, we're the best version of ourselves. we're the happiest version of ourselves. And when we're kind of satisfied, we're able to deal with situations in a better way. When I joined the temple in Miami Beach, I was so happy. I found it. I found, the path, right? And in the beginning, it's just like, wow, how blessed I am, how fortunate. I was in the kitchen and I was washing pots. And I was just chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare. I was just so happy to be there. And next to me was one bhakta who was really, for like the last year and a half, really struggling with their minds, struggling with everything, really like not happy. And I was just minding my own business, singing Hare Krishna and chanting. He got so frustrated with me. He took a pot of water and he threw the pot of water on me. He threw a pot of water. It wasn't boiling water. It wasn't even hot water. But he threw a pot of water on me. And I just remembered, as humble as a blade of grass, as tolerant as a tree. And so I remembered that I didn't get upset at all. And one devotee looked at me and said, Bhakta Tarak, very good, very good. So when we're spiritually nourished, then we're able to deal properly with all the circumstances of life that Krishna puts in our path. It's Krishna who put the circumstance in our path. It's Krishna who sent this person to test me, test my good qualities. And whenever we have a doubt, we think, well, how am I supposed to deal with this? Just think of some saintly person. Don't think of Prahlad Maharaj. Think of a modern day saint, someone that you really revere. Yeah, we all have people like that. People that we think, this person really has saintly qualities. How would they deal with this situation? And the answer will come very quickly. Yes? We'll get the answer. This is how that saintly person would do. Okay, that's what I have to also do. Let me try to do that. Krishna, you please give me the strength. Please give me the ability to be tolerant. It doesn't mean we tolerate everything. We don't tolerate people being abused. We don't tolerate even ourselves being, unnecessarily abused. But typically we tend to be intolerant, or we tend to respond to situations in a conditioned way. So just remember, how would my guru, how would this saintly person deal with this situation? What attitude would they have? And we try to follow that. And then Krishna will be pleased with us and will progress. Because to go back to the spiritual world, we have to fit in the spiritual world. Yeah? I mean, there's a huge element of mercy where like, okay, you're not quite there, but you get some special mercy, you get purified, and your Krishna qualifies you. But, we should think that I need to be qualified. I need to fit into the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, there's nothing of what's being described in this verse. Everyone who passes each other says hello. They don't say hello. They might say Hari Bol, or they might sing Hari Bol. I don't know how they greet each other. But there's zero animosity. There's no tension no real material tension between living entities. There's just love. So that's what we're aspiring for. We're aspiring to go to that realm where pure souls live. Because this place isn't nice. It's an unfit place for a lady or a gentleman. And my guru always says, if you don't like it, then go back to Godhead. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to purify our consciousness very diligently, very carefully, with great introspection. What do I need to work on? And the day will come, if we follow the process and if we're careful not to commit offenses, the day will come when we'll be free from this burden, the burden of this body and future bodies, future material bodies will be freed from the burden of our mind, of our false ego, and it'll all be like a bad dream, just a bad dream. That day is coming. It might not seem like it. Right now it just seems like there's this mountain in front of me, this mountain of anarthas. But we just have to keep climbing that mountain. And eventually you come to the top of the mountain, and then you go to the other side. And the other side is not uphill. The other side is downhill. It's very easy. Huh? You come to the stage of Nishta and Ruchi and Asak. It's all downhill. Downhill in the sense of downhill going up. Yeah? Downhill means it's natural, it's easy. The heart naturally flows towards Krishna. The heart naturally flows towards service to Krishna. The heart naturally has compassion rather than envy. Naturally, it has those qualities without any effort. That day is coming, but we have to be patient, determined, and confident that absolutely that day will come. It is now 8:30. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. There's no time for questions. Sorry. Hare Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.